Hi, I'm Dave, and today I'll guide you through the second step to start using JigBuilder, a web app that will help you in your work on the car frame. This is the second of 4 video tutorials that will assist you in making the most of this application to streamline your work and get straight to the point. In the last episode, we saw how to sign up for the app and provided a general overview of how it operates. If you missed the video, you can find it on our channel or by clicking the box in the top right corner. If you've already watched it, you might be wondering, nice intro, but when and how do we actually start working? That's the goal of the second video. We'll learn how to create a card and insert a fundamental point. Let's get hands-on and start. To begin, open the site jigbuilder.com and log in with the username and password you entered during the registration. The main screen will appear. Mine is currently empty because I haven't created any cards yet, but it's quite simple to do. If you click on the Add Card button in the top right, a table will appear where you can enter the code, brand, model, production year, and a brief description of the card. Of course, to work on the card, we'll need the paper diagram provided by the manufacturer or other suppliers. For instance, I'm working on a Porsche 911 and this is my diagram. After creating the card, click Save, and the screen where you can work on it will appear. Before we delve into adding points, let's briefly click on the All Cards button in the top right. On this home page, you'll see a list with all the cards you've created so far. The one I created is here. It means that everything worked as intended. At the end of each card's row, there are 4 colored buttons. The green one allows you to open the card. We'll do that shortly. The yellow one enables you to modify the data you entered when creating it. The blue one lets you duplicate it, and the red one is for deleting the card. Clicking the green button to open the card will take you back to the screen we saw right after creating it. Remember, in the middle of the page we see the car schema. On the left side there's a table with point coordinates. As you add points, they'll become visible on the central schema. Let's now create the first point, starting from point A on the paper schema. Simply click on the Add Point button at the top. After that, enter the point's name in the left table. In this case, I'll name it A, as in the paper diagram. Note that, before entering point coordinates, it's necessary to choose one of the 0 points on the paper diagram and always refer to it. If the points you're entering are located toward the front or left side of the vehicle relative to the 0 point, the values should be entered as negative. I'll insert the coordinates of point A in length L, width W, and height H. In my case, the length is -1174, the width is 394, and the height is 337. Each point can have specific characteristics. For instance, you can specify if the point is measured with or without assembled mechanics. In the first case, black bars will appear above and below the point's name in the central table. It's important to differentiate between assembled and disassembled mechanics. If your paper diagram marks the same point in both versions, we recommend entering both points in the digital card, slightly altering their names. For instance, in my case, point B is marked in both versions, so on the card I'll enter the measurements of the point with disassembled mechanics as B. Then I'll create another point with the measurements with assembled mechanics, which I'll call BM. You can also specify if the point is an alignment point. In this case, the color of the background in the table will turn to yellow. To effectively use JigBuilder, it's necessary to have at least 4 alignment points. We'll dive deeper into how to use alignment points in the next video, but it's good to establish them now. For example, I'll choose points D and H as alignment points. Additionally, you can decide to create a symmetrical point. When you press Save, the point will appear on the central schema. One thing to note, the first point is placed in a standard location on the schema, which doesn't correspond to the coordinates you entered. This isn't an error. The points you enter are positioned relative to each other on the schema, so you'll see the position become more precise as you add more points. However, once you've finished adding all the points, you've created your card. Great job! Now that we've finished adding the points, our card is ready. The real work is yet to come, but for today we'll stop here. In the next video we'll see how to create a work to verify the point's placement. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions or doubts about using the service, you can chat with an assistant 24/7 using the chat button at the bottom right of the app's main screen. If you liked the video, you can give it a thumbs up and share it with people who you think might find it useful. You can also subscribe to the channel. Clicking on the bell icon, you can activate notifications. This way, you'll receive an alert when new videos are released and won't miss them. Good work and happy measuring with JigBuilder!